Hello everyone. In today's session, we are discussing about perception. So, once we talk about perception, a simple meaning of perception is how we interpret the world significantly shapes our behavior, influencing our action and reaction based on our unique understanding of situation and individuals. So ultimately, once we talk about organization, perception play a very important role because how our employee interpret whatever the information is there in front of us, accordingly they will react, right? So perception play a very important role. Let to start with the introduction. Perception is the process by which individuals select, organize and interpret sensory information to understand their environment. So once we talk about perception, we select information, we organize information and we interpret information by using our major five senses, that is a sight, sound, touch, taste and smell. This is very much important, right? We must remember it because this is going to lead our behavior and action, even mindset, even thought process. Perception play a crucial role in decision making, in effective communication, as well as in behavior in both personal as well as professional life. So perception is very much important, and how we see the world, accordingly that we are going to act or we are going to respond. For example, if I wear a blue glass, I'm going to see the world in a blue color. If I wear a red glass, then I'm going to see a world in a red. That means my perception play a very important role, right? And perception and behavior are closely linked. Why we need to understand perception? The reason is that perception have a direct link with our behavior, because whatever we perceived, it's there in our action, right? Okay, let's see what is the process of perception. To majorly there are three steps in a perception process. First one is a selection. Means individuals filter and focus on specific stimuli from their surrounding. This selection is influenced by factors such as personal experience, expectations and intensity of stimuli. That means whatever the information is there in front of us, um, I'm going to select only that data or information where I'm interested, or where my expectation is there, or where I choose according to my personal experience. Second one is the organization or organizing. In this, the brain organizes the selected information into a meaningful patterns or category. This involves grouping similar stimuli and reorganize and recognize relationship between different pieces of information. And third one is the interpretation. That means the individual assign meaning to the organizational information based on past experience, cultural background, personal bias, interpretation influence, how a person reacts to a situation. Interpretation play a very important role. For example, to make our organization culture more positive, more in a we can say in a strong culture, and we are adding some more strong values, and we ask our people to act like this, follow this particular rules and regulation. At that time, we interpret these rules and regulation according to our interest, according to our requirement, according to our understanding, according to our personal experience, according to our past experience. Many factors, right, play a very important role once we talk about interpretation. So these three are the very important steps before perception, right? So first one is a selection, second one is a organization or organizing, and third one is a interpretation. Now Once we do a perception, because of many reasons, there are many errors, right? For an example, your boss is highly punctual in a time, and before you understand your personality and leadership style of your boss, someone asks you that your boss is not good and very strict or something like that, and we start our perception that yes, boss is like this, but we do not know why the boss is behave like this or why he's take some action, because he believes in time management, he believes in self discipline, and because of this our personal experience which we have heard from other colleague, we start perception and we go for wrong interpretation and wrong image of our boss or our leader. So like this there are many things, right? So there are some errors which there occurs in a perception process. So first one is a selective perception. So what is a selective perception error? The tendency to focus on certain aspects of situation while ignoring others, often based on personal interest or expectation. That is known as a selective perception. What is a halo effect? Very much important. The tendency to form an overall impression of someone based on a single characteristics. For an example, as a senior, I'm taking some interviews, and one person entered to the interview room and looking very handsome or very charming. If you talk about girl, then looking very pretty, and the the communication and the English language is very good. So by focusing on this one characteristics, I impressed and I go for overall impression that the candidate is very good. But may we are wrong in that, because I haven't checked yet about their technical skills. Just by focusing on one characteristic, single characteristics, we start our perception the candidate is going to be very good and very good knowledge and very good technical skills or something like that, but we were sometimes wrong in that part. That is called halo effect. Now third error is stereotyping. In stereotyping, it categorizes people or things based on generalized belief without considering individual difference, right? Here what happened, as we are in India and we know our society, right? Psychology and sociology and social psychology. So there are some categorized group are there, maybe in terms of gender, maybe in terms of job category, maybe in terms of industry. So by taking one example, we say yes, particular group is like this only. So this will consider as a stereotyping error. It's not like that, right? So for example, if we talk about sales, so there are salesmen are there in the market. So because of one or two bad experience, one another salesperson is come really who is very honest, really sharing very concrete and right information, then also we say like that the all salesmen are liar, all salesmen are not good. So that is a stereotyping error. Now fourth one is a projection. So attributing one's own thoughts, feelings or characteristics to others, that is known as the projection. Fifth one is a contrast effect. Here, judging someone or something based on comparison with others rather than objective evaluation, that is known as a contrast effect. Now primacy or recency effect. Here in this error, giving more importance to first impression, that is known as a primacy, or the most recent information, that is known as recency, while forming judgment. For example, maybe your person um, is greeting you very well, and whatever the work is doing, immediately report to you that what the work done by your juniors. At a time might be how you are impressed. The person is going to be very good, full fledged in entire completion of the till entire project, completion of the particular project. So that is known as the first impression primacy. And or maybe during project time might be person has not that much perform well or very indisciplined, not obey, and at the during the end of the project might be person perform well or something good initiative taken by him or her. At a time we go for the judgment on the basis of the most recent information, that is known as the primacy or recency effects. Then perceptual defense. This is the last error. What is there? Ignoring or distorting information that conflict with pre-existing belief or values. So what we can say, by understanding these all perception errors, essential for effective communication, leadership, and decision making in both personal and professional life. Right here, I have given some example, corporate example. So selective perception. What is example of it? A manager focus only on employees' recent mistake while ignoring their past achievement, leading to an unfair performance review. Halo effect. So a well-dressed and articulate candidate is assumed to be highly competent, leading to a hiring decision based on appearance rather than skills. Right? This is halo effect. Stereotyping. A company assumes that the younger employees are more tech savvy and assign all digital transformation projects to them, ignoring older employees' capabilities. Right? Because older employees are come under the group. So this group we are going to give difference in that part. So here we are making mistake. Then projection. So under projection, a leader who is highly ambitious accept all employees to have the same level of drive and criticize those who prioritize work-life balance. Right? And contrast effect, a recruiter interviews an average candidate right after an explanation one and rates them lower than they deserve due to the direct comparison. So once we do a comparison, it happens. Now primacy effect, an employee makes a poor impression on their first day, and despite improvements over time, the manager still views them as a inefficient. And recency effect, a sales employee close a major deal right before performance review, overshadowing their overall mediocre performance throughout the year. Lastly, he achieved something, and we because of that we do the performance appraisal and performance review of a salesperson by just focusing a last achievement, and we do not consider the full their year, right? Okay, then perceptual defense. Here an example of a company's leadership ignores early warning sign of financial trouble because they believe their business model is foolproof. uh, uh, that is we call as a perceptual, we can say the example. So these perception errors can impact decision making, employee morale, and business success. Making is essential for organization to promote awareness and mitigate biases. See, just these are the few example. Once we are not right in our perception, at that time you see the how many errors are there, and because of that these errors have a direct impact on our overall decision making and employee morale. Maybe they're on motivation, maybe it's there on performance. It have impact on business success. Many essential or key decision of organization we sometimes fail, and we do not make the concrete decision because of this perception errors. So we have to keep in our mind that it is very dangerous, right? Okay, so let's to see factor influencing perception. So how we minimize it, right? How we minimize and we go for on a positive direction of the perception. So first factor influencing perception, the first is always a personal factor. Our personality, mindset, past experience, motivation, our value have a direct impact that how we individually perceive a situation. Those who are on a positive mindset, always they take everything very positively. Those who are on a negative mindset, they always find problems and they take it very negatively, and from that entire picture or entire action start, right? Second one is the situation factors. So our work culture, work environment, organization culture, social setting, self perception, the situation factors play a very important role. Then target factor, the characteristics of object or person being perceived play a important role, right? Okay, now what is the importance of perception in organization? As already I've discussed earlier, let to see it again in a tabulation form. That's once we take a decision making, people or managers helps managers and employees to make informed choice based on how they interpret situation. Perception also helps in leadership, influence how leader assess employees performance, potential and motivation. It have an impact on employee behavior, affect how employee perceive their roles, responsibility and workplace environment. Communication shapes how messages are received and interpreted and reducing misunderstanding. Then conflict resolution helps in understanding different viewpoints and resolving dispute effectively. Organization culture impacts how employees perceive the organization values, mission, and leadership. Customer influence how employees perceive customer needs and responds to them effectively. And motivation and engagement, employees perception of fairness and recognition of impact their motivation and productivity. It's play a very important role. I am in a positive side, right? And diversity and inclusion shapes how individual perceive and interact with colleagues from diverse background. So perception play a crucial role in shaping an organization's success by influencing interaction, decision making, and workplace dynamics. Now, it is very much important that how we managing perception in an organization. We look at what is a perception, importance of perception, process of perception, various errors of perception. Now, how we minimize this negative perception? So first, let's have a awareness training to our people. Encourage always open communication. If because of my perception, may I misguide or may I misunderstand the particular information which was given to me or which was shared to me. If it's open communication, if I have any doubt, I'm going to ask my people with the very transparency, and always we will get the feedback as well, right? So we always encouraging open communication is a one very important tool to manage the perception. Then fair HR practices, implement structured hiring and evaluation process, minimize bias decision. Whatever the HR practices are there, we go for recruitment selection and career advancement and career development, having very good practices and process. So we minimize our perception, right? Then empathy and emotional intelligence. Leaders who practice empathy can better understand employees' perspective. So overall, let to discuss last conclusion. Perception play a vital role in organization behavior, influencing how employees interpret their work environment, interact with colleagues, and respond to leadership. Since perception is objective and shaped by personal experience, bias, and situational factor, it can impact decision making. So, to create a positive and inclusive work environment, organization must actively manage perception by promoting awareness, transparency, and fair HR practices are play a very important role. So by addressing perceptual biases and encouraging open communication, organization can enhance both employee satisfaction and overall performance. So here, this is all about an introduction part of the perception. I hope you understand it. We'll see you in next session about to understand about motivation. Thank you.